Welcome everyone to round 3 of the BMW World Tour. World Tour. Yes, it's usually followed up by the words Touring Car Championship, but I'm getting confused here because of the car that were featured in today's race. So in this race, where it's going to be a long feature race held at the Nürburgring Nordschleife, celebrating one of BMW's most famous and successful touring cars in all of Super Touring and Rally. It's probably one of the most recognizable cars that has ever graced the racetrack and the street scene even. Drifters still use this car as a base today. So if you still haven't copped on to what this car is going to be, it is none other than the BMW M3 E30 Evo, specifically the DTM spec. So without further ado, there's practice about to end and qualifying is about to begin on the Nürburgring Nordschleife with 11 drivers at hand. And also, it's probably important to note that Sebastian Gunther and Andy Darnell, the only two people to set times according to my R3 reality, and the benchmark is 8:46 at the minute. So I have no idea how quick the rest of the field is because Nordschleife is such a long lap, and you have. Like, if you mess up one corner, that is like upwards of 8.5 minutes of time wasted. Which is also why we have a qualifying session north of 25 minutes. So an important thing to note is that there wasn't commentary on the other two rounds of this championship. In fact, I was racing in the second round, the round previous, the other day. It's probably a good time to mention that my name is Michael Chute and I'll be commentating for you today. And there's going to be a lot of waffle this stream because the lap times are so long, and because these guys we're going to be wasting upwards of 8.5 minutes for an out lap from out of these guys. So it's going to be a bit of a snooze fest until the race, unfortunately, but hopefully I can keep you awake with a few very interesting facts about the M330 and its racing configuration and its career as it's been raced by BMW from 1987 to 1993. It's been winning championships all over the world. It's won 7 titles, a lot across. Sorry, I had a notepad with this. I didn't actually put anything into it. That's time well spent. But across many different championships, touring cars, super touring, DTM, an Irish Rally Championship, funnily enough, and a win at the Tour de Corsa, actually. Like, this car, BMW used this M330 for absolutely everything they could. Like, they milked this as much as they could. So another thing, if you're not particularly familiar with the M330, like this is the second M series car that BMW ever produced, and it wasn't initially designed as a sports car as we know it today. It was designed as a homologation special to get around a set of regulations imposed by Super Touring. And not Super Touring. I'm getting confused with another car, but it was a homologation special for the DTM, and specifically Group A, so they can go elsewhere on the planet and race their brand new Like, the only other M Sport car that they produced up until this point was the M1, and that was just about as close as you can get to the race car it is, like, as you can get. Like, in terms of road-going performance cars. I mean, the M1 had to be converted from a race car to the road. Like, I remember I was commentating a championship. No, it was a fun race, I think, involving the BMW M1 Pro car. And I'll probably repeat a few facts about the M1 because that'll help us understand, like, what was going through the minds of the people who made the M3, because this is their second car, I'll reiterate, and the M1 was their first one, so we'll go over the M1 first. So, of course, the M Sport division wanted to make a Group 5 project, and at first they got a few Lamborghini engineers to help them, like the same ones that made the Countach, or was it the Miura, I can't remember, but a few Lamborghini engineers. They contracted them to make a chassis. And one way or another, they pull out at some point. And to make matters worse, the Group 5 regulations changed. So now you have to make Group 4 versions of the cars and homologate that as a stepping stone into Group 5. So they were kind of screwed in that regard. So before they could get to race the Group 5 variant of the M1, which would have been like the ultimate homologation special. Like, they wouldn't be. Sorry, a lot of this is waffle, but I'm really just trying to figure out how to talk for 25 minutes. Let me just get my facts straight, let me just think. So in the context of the M1, the regulations changed before they could enter into Group 5. So now they had to, like, homologate for Group 4 first, then as a stepping stone to Group 5. I already said that. The problem was that BMW didn't want to make road-going versions of these cars. They wanted to make it a pure thoroughbred race car because of loopholes in the in the old Group 5 regulations. There was a loophole that BMW would have tried to exploit, but now they had to build many, many more cars than they would have had, and that really ruined their business plan, really. Because they managed to get the Group 4 version, but they were running out of cash fast in the program. And the way they would have been able to solve that is to like sell the homologation specials for the M1 that they converted from race cars, I should mention. And funnily enough, the M1 is a classic today, but back in the day, like, it costed around as much, if not more, than a Lamborghini, like the newest Lamborghini of that period. So, like, partly due to brand recognition and all that, the M1 didn't really sell well, and for the curators who bought one to review, they didn't really like the way that the steering wheel was a little bit off center to the driver, like the way the race cars wanted it. They wanted it in the race cars, because of course they didn't change that. And of course, like, it was just a little bit too much of a race car for the road, and for people who bought it in the day, they just didn't really enjoy driving it, and they didn't really see it as an alternative to the Lambos of that era. So that's where they lost business, and that's where they ran out of cash. Like, even though, like, they came up with a solution, actually, to try to get the car more televised and try to advertise it a bit more. They came up with the Pro Car series, which was a special racing series involving the M1's race cars in a slightly faster spec than the Group 4 M1s. They're shoehorning, like, a bit more engine power into them via tuning, and it would be a racing series ran alongside Formula One, like a few years back, where the Porsche Cup. Well, I'm talking out of my ass, but they ran on this like in they ran on this very same racetracks that Formula One raced in the '80s, mid '80s, and there would be a few big names, like including the Formula One drivers driving these pro cars. So that's the way they tried to get the M1 off the ground, but it just, even though it was popular, people thought it looked cool. It just wasn't an alternative to the Lamborghini. So, like, as much as it is a classic now, the M1 was a flop. But their second car was a lot better. Now we finally get to where we talk about the car at hand, the M330. So they needed a replacement car to they weren't interested in Group 4 anymore. They wanted to shift. The BMW, the M Sport, wanted to show off their lineup in touring cars and super touring and the DTM, and maybe try their hand at a little bit of rally. So they wanted to purpose build a saloon car, uh, to go racing, and they did a pretty good job this time. Like, they did it all in house, I think. And there was a few evolutions of the M3 that all supported different years and makes of the M3 and evolutions. But the spec we're seeing on track right now in front of you, this is the 1992 spec of DTM, like, well, just 1 year before it was retired in 1993. It's got a 6-speed gearbox, 4-cylinder engine, rear-wheel drive, and we finally got 2 lap times on the board after almost 1/3 of the qualifying session has passed, and we are within 5 thousandths of a second almost immediately. We've got Paul taking the pole ahead of Sebastian Gunther, but Gunther's only 5 thousandths off. So I am absolutely astounded at like, out of every place that this can happen, the largest racetrack in the world, they're 5 thousandths off. These two are absolutely incredible. I've got to watch out for those today. But who else has joined but Henrik Andreasen once again, who is an absolute fiend for these cars, and also, as a coincidence, a mad fiend for the Nordschleife in general. So I'd imagine that Henrik is going to be a very prominent figure up front later on. But I don't see him like, he's just had to reset his car, I believe. But he hasn't set a lap time yet. But 5 others have, so I'll go over the top 5. So Poliapri takes the pole with Sebastian Gunther lining up in second. At this time, Fotis Isoglu's in third, and Andy Darnell's in fourth. Jeff Ekis completes the top 5, and nobody else out of the 12 drivers has completed a full lap yet, and I don't blame them, because one mistake over this 8.5 minutes, borderline 9 minutes if you round it off, lap, and it's absolutely ludicrous. Like, 9 minutes of focus, constant focus, without a single mistake in track limits, while taking the racing line and risks over the curbs, which these cars really don't like curbs, by the way. If you take one too hard, like, that's your car totaled. You're done. So that's something you need to keep a really big eye out for. So anyway, back to the M3. So, of course, they developed it as a homologation special initially, and it worked out pretty well. They run with the car between 1987 and 1993 when it retired, across around, like, I need to check the number. I should have checked the number of championships. They won championships all over the all over the world. So they won the World Touring Car Championship. That was 87 when it debuted. Won the European Touring Car Championship. Went to Britain, won that 2 years in a row. Went to Italy, won that. Won DTM twice. Won the Australian Touring Car title once. The 2-litre regulations once. The Manufacturers Championship twice. AMSCAR twice. Won the Irish Tarmac Championship, Rally Championship. The one Rally Championship they have to their name, along with the Tour de Corse win in 87. Those are the rally achievements of, like, it's a really, really iconic car in rally, particularly, but it never really did too well because it wasn't 4-wheel drive, it was only 2-wheel drive. But it did have this 6-speed gearbox. Oh, Sebastian Gunther's gone off! And that is 9 minutes of lap time erased, and he's not going to have enough time for another lap in this session. He's going to have to stay second and hope the referee doesn't improve. Or hope nobody else just jumps him for that matter. But man, spinning it inwards on a good lap, he was half a second up as well. Like, there's more time in it. Definitely. We'll have to see how this plays out in the race. We've got 10 minutes to go. There's roughly, if you're on a lap right now, you've got enough time to finish it, and then that's it. You have to wait the other 2 minutes out. So it won 25 championship titles along. I must have been saying that wrong. I've got my sources muddled up. Across 11 championships, like 11 different championship series, I should say. Like, it's truly one of the more dominant touring cars of its time, and really the M3 lineage still lives on today as a bit of a marketing ploy. But now that since the M3 GT2 in the late 2000s, the cars like the M6 and the Z4 and the M4 have been taken over from the M3. But performance cars are still being made for the road today, with carrying the M3's name. But the M3 will always be the original, and will always have all this fantastic history. I think it's really interesting. So of course this is the DTM. This is from the DTM package, like 1992 DTM specs. It would have been like in Race Room. We would have been seeing it race alongside the Audi V8, like the V8 Quattro. We'd be seeing it racing the Opel, the V6 one. Like, you'd see the Baby Benz, the 190 Evo. But like that wouldn't be in today's race. Like, this is the BMW World Tour. So naturally, if we're given the M330, one of BMW's most proud touring cars, one of the toughest tracks in motorsport, really. I think it's going to be an interesting race, at least for the first lap or two, before it stagnates for the rest of the hour. But I keep my eyes open, because Yepri and Gunther are super close in qualifying, but I have no idea how close they're gonna be in terms of consistency. But right now, it appears it's gonna be super close. Up on two wheels, Jeff Eakett. 2.5 seconds off of the leader's pace. He's going to be on a personal best. Maybe he can overtake Andy Darnell photostatistically on the standings. Maybe go for a second row start. So it'll help him very, very big. But one thing to remember, this is a 1 hour long race. It's not going to be won at the first corner, because you have the rest of the hour to figure out your racing position via pace if you really are fast enough and deserve it. So there's 6 minutes left of qualifying to go. And 8 lap times on the board. So Vic Vega has gone 6th with and now there's two Middle Eastern names that not even Middle East, Eastern European names that I cannot pronounce. Nikolai Karastoyanov and Daniel Kuchesnik in 7th and 8th, respectively. And Henrik Andreasen still hasn't set a lap time. So he might be planning a bit of a last to first kind of deal. Like not to say he hasn't been trying. He's set 4 separate laps, 4 separate attempts, and he's gone off the track all 4 of those times. So maybe he might be able to set some kind of lap time for himself just in time. And I just had a look at Henrik Andreasen's times, and it looks like he's going to be, if he keeps the pace up, he's going to be on the pole. He's almost 2 seconds up in the second sector, and possibly many more in the third. He's almost being held up by a car in front of him. Henrik Andreasen driving the number 16. He's going to be finishing up that lap very, very shortly. He won't have enough time to hopefully to set up. And to make it even quicker, he's going to be in a car in front of him too. So he's going to get a bit of a speed boost down the straightaway. Going to try it on the outside. The 2 wide going in. That's in the back straight. Andreasen gets past okay. They're going to be taking over each other when they get to the end of that back. So everybody makes themselves out now. Giving a few wheels into the grass on both sides. And he's going into the power, he's validated this lap. He would have been in pole position, but he's going to put the final corner. Henrik Andreasen does not follow the lap for the break. He'll be stopped at P99. Like I said, the rest of the cars are recap top 8. If you have left on this very challenging track. So probably we've got to do the 1, 2. Jeff Eakett is third ahead of Hannah now. So he's doing a very good job with that lap time on D. And he's got now 4th, closest to 5th. It could be interesting. They could have first and 7th and 10th, and you'll get Kuchesnik in 8th. And look at your and every other car seems to be separating against the 2 units until just one. That is the winner of the race. So in any case, I've already went over what exactly the info really is. There's a lot more about them. Computer-driven saloon car has been converted to a race car from the start. And not so many people know about that. More people really meant And there appears to be an issue with the sound apparently. We'll see you in a second for the race start. We're going to start to finally see a bit of action here at the Nürburgring. So in any case, it's going to be a bit of alright, now 5-minute warm-up, we're going to be wait 5 more minutes. That's it. Alright, so sorry about that. I believe we had a bit of an issue with the audio, unfortunately. Almost half my rant about the M330's history has been lost, unfortunately, and I'm not going over it again. But I will repeat what the last part I said, which is that the M3 is a lot more than a plucky German saloon car. It was then that has been just converted. It was a race car. From the very start, it was designed like that, and it really reflects like that in the amount of championships it won. 25 championships across 11 series, so there you go. So if you've just joined the stream, welcome to the BMW World Tour. We're about to be 3 minutes away from a 1-hour-long race feature along the finest of the green hells roads that they have to offer at the Nürburgring, or Nordschleife. So we've got a legendary German car, legendary German track, and 12 of our finest drivers. And of course, while winning this, winning something like this would be an enormous achievement. So is just finishing the race, considering it's an hour in the green hell and some of the more potent cars in the sim. And by that I mean they're pretty tough to drive for some people. Like, some people just can't click with the torque that these, like, they're only 4 cylinders, but they can outrun at least in the sim. I'm not sure how accurate that actually is, but they can, in race room, they can outrun a GT3 on the straight. 4-cylinder engine, but you know yourself. We're only going to be seeing M3s here tonight, so that shouldn't bother us. So unfortunately, they're not going to be. Oh, Henrik Andreasen is he's very famous for being like knowing Nordschleife like the back of his hand. He was going quickest by like several seconds, and going towards the end of the a qualifying session, but he just couldn't put any kind of lap time together out of the 5 laps he attempted. Like, he's incredibly quick, but unfortunately, he has a very high crash rate, so I'm not really sure how long we'll get to see him racing at the front. He's going sideways at every opportunity. That can't be quick, it needs to be smooth. Although the M3 allows, it gives a lot of scope for, like, sliding and all that. There's also a limit, and it's not always the fastest way round. But we'll see what the Viking makes of the circuit and the race start. Coming from 9th on the grid. Oh, God. Heading the barrier, going slightly off track. It's getting it out of his system, boys. 30 seconds to go in warm-up. Yeah, Henrik is, if I got a nickel for every time Henrik has hit a barrier this warm-up session, I'd have enough to buy myself a coffee. Alright, that was a bit mean, but hopefully he improves. I'm very sorry, Henrik. Yeah, hopefully he sorts it out for the race start, because he is definitely the pace to win. He just needs to ease off the throttle a little bit to make sure he survives the hour. A little bit of damage will go a long way across the race distance, especially when you have to do it from the start. So, fingers crossed we all survive going into turn 1 here tonight with 12 drivers. And this appears to be very for the... It was 5 thousandths of a second was the difference between Polly Epri and Sebastian Gunther and during qualifying. So let's see if it translates over to the race. Because Sebastian could have gone quicker, but he went off, unfortunately. So a bit of info for... never mind, we're about to start the race immediately. There's no grid lineup. So, Yepri in front. Here goes for 1 hour of Nürburgring here at the BMW World Tour. Pretty wide going into turn 1, and Sebastian Gunther seems to be on the inside to get the better of Polly Epri and Andy Darnell. Darnell's on the outside going offensive, gonna get the move done. Very, very smooth indeed. And he's got Gunther in the same corner. He's leading the race, and Epri follows him through to take second. But here comes Fotis Isoglu going too wide with Sebastian Gunther. Andreassen's all the way up to 12th, and he's lost 2 positions. He must have gotten a very bad start. Fotis Isoglu's off the track. He's after being overtaken by a lot of cars. A lot of work ahead of him. But now your top 5 right now, after the race start, is Andy Darnell getting an absolute masterclass of a start with Polly Epri 3 tenths behind, Sebastian Gunther in 3rd, 2 tenths behind Epri, and Vic Vega in his own little train with Jeff Eckett in 4th and 5th respectively. Grechesnik got 2 positions off the line with Fotis Isoglu losing to 7th, and Nikolai Karastoyanov in 8th, Gabriel Tapux in 9th, gaining 3 positions off the line in P9 from P12, Ivan Gornkov in 10th, Henrik Andreassen just not quite getting up to pace just yet in P11, and Ricardo Costa is at the back in P12. 58 minutes to go, and we're just entering the Nürburgring Nordschleife now. And I'm sure Yeperi's got quite the offensive planned on Andy Darnell in just a minute. So the gap between Andy Darnell and the Yeperi is within half a second, and without a doubt, that toe is going to help him and try to get past. And amazingly, Sebastian Gunther started to slip up a little bit. Sebastian's trying to drop back to almost a second off of the Yeperi. They're now bumper to bumper, Sebastian Yeperi versus Andy Darnell. Andy manages to defend it. They're too wide going up at the front. Andy Darnell maintains the frontal position, but maybe there's going to be a switch back in store for him from Paul Yeperi. Paul's looking for any way he can, but he better not make a move here. This is very dangerous. This is where you don't make a move. Almost goes off. He trips over the curb. He goes wide, and Sebastian Gunther's right back at it. Massive skill check for Paul Yeperi there. He's going to have to keep his eyes open in the rear while on the defensive, while going on the defensive on front. It's a really, really stressful situation as a driver to have to do two things at once. Because you can only really do one or the other. Too wide maybe. For a split second, he just couldn't get the exit torque on Andy Darnell. Andy's keeping up the defense very well. And let's not forget about the battle between Vic Vega and Jeff Eakett for fourth. Eakett's behind P5 right now, but he's got the facilities to go for fourth if he tries hard enough over the hour. And of course, for P6 right now, Fotis Isoglu's in sixth, and Hendrik Andreassen's finally started to get a little bit of time made on the front pack as he's getting bumper to bumper with Fotis Isoglu for P6. But they're too wide going up at the front. Andy Darnell's going defensive, and Gunther manages to slide past Paul Yeperi. The top three are within 1 second, are all within a second of each other. From first to third. Absolute no tolerance for any mistake, or else you lose the position. Simple as that. Three-car train at the front, and it looks like Paul Yeperi has the bit of a slipstream. He manages to overtake Sebastian Gunther, and he's mounting an offensive on Andy Darnell now. Just needs to find any little way past him. Right now it's the battle for P4 has expanded 3 more cars. That being Vic Vega, Jeff Eakett, and Henrik Andreassen's gotten past Fotis. He's on a charge now to come past the rest of the midfield, and he wants to try get up there. He's out of the slipstream train, but he's definitely fast enough to try catch them up over the hour. Might be a 4th car, and they're running for a podium very, very soon. Yeperi seems to be very confident in the carousels. He's using every bit of track, and he's accelerating at the right time. But Andy Darnell seems to be getting him at the corners afterwards. You can see Yeperi getting a tighter line than Andy. Bit of a touch there, I think. from Polyepri ramming Andy Darnell. Small bit, not enough to disrupt him in any way, but it's definitely going to be putting a little bit of pressure on Andy there. They are so incredibly close, and they've maintained this kind of distance for almost an entire lap now of low Nordschleife, which would equate to around 9 to 10, like 8 to 9 minutes of constantly being within a second of each other. They're too wide. Polyepri is trying it on the outside, and he covers him off, and he doesn't have the grip to go on the inside, or maybe he does on the apex. Polyepri on the inside of Andy Darnell. He can't defend the position much longer, but he's going to be able to slot in behind him for the toe. There goes Sebastian Gunther following him through, too wide, and now still too wide going into the apex, but Andy's going to be going in on the wrong racing line. He's going to have to drop back a little bit, but now he's going to have the slipstream, and you can see all the cars snaking left to take advantage of the slipstream that these cars have to offer. It's going to be massive going down the straight. Gunther looks like he's going to mount a challenge very shortly. He's bump tracting his rival, Polyepri. He wants to get away from Andy Darnell. They're working together. That's incredible. And you can see the midfield behind them. Too wide, and Henrik Andreassen's gotten past Jeff Eckett. He's getting closer to the top three every sector. Henrik's come back from 9th in the grid to go to 4th at the end of the first lap. So the three boys at top have something very, very big to worry about now as the number 16 starts to close in. And Andy Darnell is going to be the first target for the the bronze. And Andy Darnell lets the position go. He doesn't want to incur the Vikings' wrath in any way whatsoever. He's up into 3rd now. And next up on Henrik Andreassen's list is going to be Sebastian Gunther. That multicoloured Unitron car up in front. Half a second separate them, and he's got to make short work of Sebastian if he wants to catch Iepri. He wants to maintain the slipstream. But Iepri is making good time now. He's trying to get away from the cars behind him. He's making a good gap. 50 minutes to go, and it's lap 2. Henrik's getting a bit squirrely there. He's starting to have a bit of an itch on his right foot. He's going to have to reel that in very quickly. We've gone mostly single file for now. There's still a battle for P2 now, as Henrik goes onto the Nordschleife portion of the track, and now he needs to find some kind of opening and some form of attack to get past Sebastian Gunther and go for first. He's been slicing and dicing this pack like a sushi chef so far. He's come back from 9th to come to 3rd so far, gaining 6 positions in the process in the space of 1 lap for the most part. Side by side going onto the portion of the hill, and that's Sebastian Gunther relinquishing the position to the Viking. It's Henrik Andreassen in 2nd. Going onto the straightaway, maybe Sebastian hoped this would happen, and now he's going to be able to mount a counter-attack with the slipstream, but will it be enough? Has he let him too far gone? He's let him past a bit too far, I'm afraid. He's going to have to keep working on it and try and maybe meet up with the Iepri in the future. For 2nd, maybe. There's Vic Vega in P7, making good time on Photosysicglue, you can tell. Fotis has been really struggling as of late. He just can't seem to get the consistency correct. But I don't blame him, it's the green hell. Few notable drivers like Will McCone and people like that are absent from this race simply because they don't do Nordschleife. It's that hard of a track. It's a very difficult track. It's very takes a long time to learn as well.
What tyres are we all on, Michael?
So keeping in mind that the DTMs have in the race room they have two types of tires. They have the soft tires and the hard tires. So a lot of the front runners have opted to go for soft tires. The top three have gone for softs, like that being Henrik Andreasen, Paulie Epri, and Sebastian Gunther. While Andy is opting to stay out on in fourth, is opting to stay for hards. He's waiting. Those are going to come alive later in the session. Like the problem with the soft tires is that they're fast now, but they're going to be they're going to almost be blowing a tire. Come the end of the hour, they have to last the full race distance. And Sebastian Gunther saying in the Discord earlier that he doesn't plan on pitting or making a pit stop or new soft tires. So, under the circumstance, he forgot to put enough fuel into the car. He's not going to be pitting for any reason, and that's the general consensus going into the soft tire decision. Like other hard tire runners are going to be like people back in the back of the pack, like Ivan Gunkov, Karastoyanov, Costa, and Gerchesnik was running hard tires as well, but he's DNF'd from the race, unfortunately. I didn't get to see what happened to him. But I'm gonna guess that there's a possibility that the soft tires are gonna blow out for some people that pushed them too hard over the hour. And people who are running the hard tires, like Andy Darnell, will still have tire tread, and this car almost come dipping their toes off the track. That was Jeff Eakett. While he's under pressure from photosystically 1/10 behind, too wide going into the heavy braking zone right before the first carousel. There's going to be a braking contest into the carousel now, dipping down low into the camber for faster cornering speed. The snaking back right to take the racing line. But what I was saying about the hard tyre users is that if the soft tyres blow out on the cars in front of them, if they push it too hard, then that's going to mean that like the people who are running hard tyres are going to capitalise off that, because their tyres are still going to be, well, they'll still have tread on them, simply put. And even then, there's going to be a point where the hard tyres might be faster than worn soft tyres at that degradation after an hour. So Andy might be making a late race comeback anyway. Like don't rule him out just yet, because this is a 1 hour feature race. And oh my goodness, that's Vic Vega almost going off the track. He hit a curb and almost flipped the car. He was on two wheels. He's lost He's lost almost half a second to Jeff Eakett up in front of him. He's still up and driving, but I'm not sure what kind of damage he has. And that's Fotis Isoglu taking a bit of dirt and nearly getting a move done on him by by Jeff Eakett, just very nearly. And that's the Tic Tac car going off. That's Karastoyanov with a DNF, unfortunately, as he slammed into the barrier as his race over. We are now 10 cars with 43 minutes to go on the latter end of lap 2. Eakett's piling on the pressure for 5th, as Fotis is riding curb after curb. He doesn't know how much more that M3 can take. Ika gets a slightly worse exit off of the second carousel before the straight, but he doesn't need it because he's going to be in range of that slipstream offered by Fotis Isoglu. And that's Sebastian Gunther 2 seconds off of Iepuri in front of him. 1.5 to be honest. So Jeff Eakett might be mounting an offensive here on the back stretch. He's going to have enough scope to maybe go too wide into the final heavy braking zone. Now he's on the outside line, and Fotis Isoglu is going to be on the inside, but I don't think he's going to be able to maintain that too wide formation. And it looks like Jeff Eakett manages to get ahead of him. And Fotis has to relinquish down to 6th now. He's made too many mistakes on that lap. And Eakett was able to make enough time on him to capitalise on the straight. But now it's up to Fotis to get this position back. And that's Henrik Andreasen going into the pits. He's got damage. I believe it may be suspension. He might have blown it for himself. He's lost the lead and now Iepuri's back in the lead. And Sebastian Gunther is still maintaining a 1.5 second gap, but that can change at the blink of an eye. According to telemetry, Henrik Andreasen doesn't have damage, but he's in the pits anyway. I'm not quite sure what his plan is exactly, but I guess we'll hear from the Viking soon, and we'll see what his plan is. Maybe he's... There might be a possibility that he went into the pits for another set of softs. I don't know if he actually went in for softs, but if he did, then he's going to be on slightly faster softs than everyone else come to the end of the race by a few seconds at least per lap. So that might be a bit of an undercut strategy from Henrik Andreasen. Either that or he's making this and he doesn't want this to be a boring hour for himself. Or maybe he did in fact get damage and my UI is messed up, but it is what it is. Henrik Andreasen, right now, he was leading the race just a few seconds ago, but now he's in 7th. 40 minutes to go. As the battle happening at the minute, for P3 at the minute, Jeff Eakett is going head-to-head with Fotis Isoglu now for the final podium spot. What happened to... Paul Iepuri has retired from the race. I don't understand what happened to him. I don't see what happened to him. The auto director didn't catch it. Maybe he disconnected or something. Or maybe he crashed out, but whatever happened, Sebastian Gunther is now leading from Andy Darnell by 8.5 seconds, with Jeff Eakett taking the final podium spot being contested by Fotis Isoglu. That is our fight of the minute. And it appears Fotis Isoglu is getting a bit farther away from Jeff Eakett. Eakett's making more and more time. But in front of Eakett, just barely, you can see Andy Darnell in 2nd. So maybe this might be not just a two-horse battle, but maybe become a 3-car train in a few minutes' time. Depending on whether or not Fotis is willing to work together with Jeff, they might be able to bump draft each other going to the straight and maybe get closer to P2. That's what I'd do in that situation. sideways goes Jeff Eckett. It can't be the fast way around, and certainly unhealthy for his soft tyres. You can see the contrast in driving lines and driving style between Jeff Eckett and Fotis Zissiglu, because Zissiglu is a lot more smooth on the throttle, like both on the throttle and in cornering. He doesn't seem to turn the car as much as Eckett does. While Eckett is faster at this stage, he's going to be dropping off very soon because he's wearing out those soft tyres. And like power sliding and all that business is not going to be healthy for that. Healthy for tyre wear. It's not always even the fastest way around this track. And while the M3 does provide a lot of scope for catching power slides, it is relatively forgiving if you know how to do it properly. But like it's by far not the fastest way to exit the corner, if you can help it at least. And a little bit of information on some of the some of the cars that have retired from the race. Polyepri crashed out, and Gabriele Tapux's game crashed, unfortunately. So that's the situation with 36 minutes to go. And we're starting to see a lot of gaps form. Like, Fotis is still the closest two cars on the track right now is Eckett versus Fotis. Like, Eckett's in front, but he's making too many mistakes to make a gap. And at this rate, Fotis is going to be close enough for the slipstream, and he gets a better acceleration on the carousel on the inside as Jeff Eckett goes wide and Fotis takes the third place and the final position for hardware in third. But keep in mind that Andy Darnell is maintaining a very consistent gap with Fotis Zissiglu and Jeff Eckett, even though Andy's running the hard tyre. So maybe this is where the compound choice comes into play, as the softs start to wear down a little bit. Where the tread's starting to run out with the soft runners, Andy's got plenty to spare with his hards. And four cars have caught up to each other. So that's Jeff Eckett following Fotis Zissiglu. If into the wall goes Fotis Zissiglu, he's tripped over the curb and he's paid the price. And Eckett's definitely slowed down to react to that. He doesn't want to crash into him. But that means Henrik Andreasen and Vic Vega are now hounding him down. Andreasen fresh from the pits. I don't know whether or not he got new softs, but that would be a very good explanation for his tigering up the field, if not his just pure driving skill. Taking the carousel a little bit too deep, so one of the cars need to take it just right. On the inside, maybe Jeff Eckett tries to defend in vain from Henrik Andreasen. He's making a second charge of the field. From 9th to 1st to 7th, now back to 4th. And he's not done. He's going to be challenging Fotis Zissiglu side to side for third place. On the outside line, Fotis Zissiglu has to slot back behind him, maybe get a little bit of help from the slipstream, get a bit of overspeed himself. But now Vic Vega is fighting Jeff Eckett now for 5th. Vega on the inside with the first corner, but now Eckett's going to be on the Never mind, Vic Vega's leading Jeff Eakett now. Eakett's now lost 3 positions off the line from when he started in third, but the complexion of this race has changed dramatically over the course of half an hour. So currently the fastest lap has been set by Sebastian Gunther with 8 minutes 48.0. And without a doubt, Henrik Andreassen's lapping faster, but none of them are actually valid laps. He hasn't set a single valid lap in the session so far. He's made at least one off track in every lap he's made so far within these 4. So Henrik's now has a job to do. He's going to have to catch Andy Darnell once again. He's 2 seconds ahead. Andy is actually the fastest hard runner. But there's Henrik Andreassen on softs behind him. Now Jeff Eakett is back at it with Vic Vega for P5. Trying to come back. They continue on to the entry of the Nürburgring Nordschleife. We are practically at half race distance with 31 minutes to go. So that's Henrik versus Andy right now. Henrik's looking for any way past he can from Andy Darnell. Too wide going onto the hill. You have to be careful with the lack of grip. And it appears Andy Darnell led him through. It's Henrik Andreassen in second place, and now Henrik is 16 seconds behind Sebastian Gunther. It's a mountain to climb for the rest of this half hour if he wants to take victory in the BMW World Tour. And we are officially at half race distance, 29.59 minutes race to go. So I'll be level with a lot of you. This has been incredibly challenging with only 8 cars left and like the move only happening around once per lap. I don't really have too much to say. So allow me to shut up for a few minutes, I suppose, and let you listen to what the golden age of Super Touring and Group A sounded like. 4-cylinder engines, ladies and gentlemen. And the fight is now back between Jeff Eakett and Vic Vega. They're back at it again, just having another crack at it for the midfield points. Jeff Eakett's fastest lap so far has been 1 minute 59.9, and Vic Vega's fastest lap was 8:57.6. So while Jeff Ekus is getting close to Vic Vega on a few parts of the track, Vega's immediately making that time back on other parts of the circuit. But Ekut's also making use of that toe. He's using it to hang on and hang in there. And good evening. If you've joined us just now, you've missed a few of the best bits, but there's still a lot of action to come there, with Photosyssiglu dipping his toes into the grass and losing himself a little bit of time. That'll be very good for Vic Vega. But if you've just joined us, if you've missed a lot of the action that has unfolded for the past half hour, because this is going to be a 1 hour race in total. We're just reached a few minutes off of half race distance, 26 minutes to go, 27 to round it off. And we started out with 12 cars, and 4 of them have retired due to mechanical issues, hardware issues, software issues, or otherwise. And to be fair, you've missed a pretty exciting race start to boot, and a very, very talented charge of Henrik Andreasen because Henrik Andreasen, the man in P2 right now, is trying to make time with Sebastian Gunther, 17 seconds away. But keep in mind that Henrik, he didn't actually qualify. He tried to, but he couldn't set a lap time no matter how hard he tried. So he ended up starting P9, which is very out of character for someone like Henrik. And the speed, he's usually up near the front. But in typical Henrik Andreasen type fashion, he went from P9 to P1 and pits for no reason other than his amusement, into P7 and now back to P2 in present day. So yeah, Henrik is just kind of keeping himself entertained, and that's Vic Vega nearly going off the track. He went to cut the curb. His tires are going to be dirty now. Going into this right-hander into the sweeping left. This is the worst time he could have dirty tires on this track. Into the second carousel, he's going to be trying to get as close as he can to Photosyssiglu for the straight, but he's just about outside of the slipstreaming range. I think Photos has severed him a little bit from the toe, but we'll see in a second if he manages to make a little bit of time. He might still be close enough to get a little bit of a boost. But that'll be the battle for P4. And Sebastian Gunther has managed to keep a very, very good 16-second gap. Has been fluctuating between 16 to 17 for the past lap. And as I say that, he's gained around like a second in the space of like 10 seconds, like a few corners. That said, that's Henrik Andreasen. He is a Viking/alien, especially in these DCM92 cars, and especially on the Nordschleife. This is where he lives. Not really, but like figuratively, he lives in the Nordschleife. This is his favorite track, I believe. Well, nearly a bit of a spin. That was for Vic Vega. Nearly did a call out of Henrik Andreasen. They're running the same racing number, the number 16. The Warsteiner livery. Very similar to the Warsteiner. It's got the white and the sky, the navy, and the red. All that's really different is the screen advertising and the racing number, really. And very, very subtle sponsor differences. between him and Jeff Eakett anyway. This is the battle for P5, 3 minutes to go. So Eakett has definitely got pace on Vic Vega, like at least on the Nürburgring section, but when he goes into the Nordschleife, he appears to lose a few seconds over the course of the track extension. Now that he's close enough, I hope that he's going to be able to get some kind of slipstream off him. So, with 20 minutes to go, I really don't have much to say. Unfortunately, most of the action has died down by now. We've missed an incredible race start, so... I mean, if you're aching for action, and if you've just joined, this is a bit of a terrible time to join the stream. Yeah, the action's starting to stagnate a little bit. But if you want to relive the start of the stream, the start of the race, that was exhilarating. I'd give us the first lap, like a watch. It'd be definitely worth a bit of a gander if you've just joined now. It's one of the better ones we've seen on Nürburgring. That's Potasisoglu going off onto the track. He's lost a bit of time to the cars behind, and now that's given us a bit of scope to Vic Vega and Jeff Eakett. It's going to be 3 cars fighting for 4th once again, as Vic Vega is flashing his headlights at Potasisoglu, maybe to intimidate him, trying to tell him, get out of the way. Whereas Fotis is not like that. He's going to have to make him fight for every bit of track position. Less than half a second separate Potasisoglu and Vic Vega, and it's around the same gap between Vic Vega and Jeff Eakett. It's another 3-car sandwich. Potas is getting a very good exit out of that corner. He's getting a better exit than Vic Vega, but Vega has the slipstream to capitalise on that. And even then, Jeff Eakett is starting to drop back a small bit. And we only have 1/3 of the race distance left to go, 20 minutes out of an hour. Have a listen to that intake sound of this 4-cylinder engines. These are absolutely beautiful. If only the modern day touring cars sounded like this, a lot more people would give it a watch, you know? The cars, because these cars are, like, in addition to being, like, technically cars you can buy off the showroom floor, are being designed for racing and modified from the ones you can actually buy. Like, these are cars that you can buy more or less in the time period off the showroom floor and a different specification for the road. And that's more or less the kind of formula we've got going for the WTCC modern day going to, and the BTCC going modern day as well. Like, of course, the cars have changed a lot since then, and some of them are even running. BTCC in particular are running the hybrid system, if I remember correctly. I was reading about it. But if they start making them sound anywhere as raw and powerful as these old M330s did, like if they made the cars a little bit more of a showman spectacle, no, without a doubt it would get a lot more popular and really be recognised, you know? My name's Michael Sheepson, and I'm talking out of my arse. We have 17 minutes to go, and your top 5 right now is going to be Sebastian Gunther leading the race, still maintaining that 16-second gap between Henrik Andreasen and himself. Of course, Henrik's in second, and Andy Darnell's in third. He's started to lose a little bit of time to photostatistically. He's able to see him in his rearview mirror around 3 seconds back. But it's not quite in slipstreaming range just yet, and I doubt that Vic Vega wants to work with photostatistically. He wants to get past him instead of bump draft on the straight. That would be the smart option to do. Vic Vega goes off the track, he hits the curb way too hard, goes in too hot, and now he's destabilized and hit the barrier. And that M3 is going to need a nose job. He's still running, but one of those headlights is going exploded. I could have made a cartoon noise, I think. Because that's what happens like that. Actually, I just realized Vega's car looks like it's winking now, so there you go. Gotta add a little bit of imagination into these things. A little fun with it. We now begin lap 6. And Jeff Eakett is starting to get further and further away from photostatistically in 4th. He's mounting a very big challenge, but as the mistakes start to dry out for photostatistically, so does the time that Jeff Eakett's gaining. And Photos is only 2 seconds behind Andy Darnell now. Now remember, Andy's running the hard compound and Photostatically still running the softs. So that gives the question as to, was the hard tire really the right call? Like, was it really needed? Or the softs really are gonna hold up for another 15 minutes of racing? Because like the soft tires in the DTM 2020, not 2020, 1992, like in the class in particular, like the soft tires there are famous for being absolutely abysmal and for keeping tire wear and like lasting a long time. But I mean, I do suppose it's good practice if you want to practice managing tires over a future race. But without a doubt, like some of the soft runners are going to be starting to really feel it on their left side tires, maybe the left fronts in particular. But the thing is, like, there's been a lot of testing conducted with these tires in our community, in particular, between the softs and the hard tires with DTM 92. And it's been widely believed that the very very well-worn soft tires are still faster than brand new hard tires. Like, the gap is that much. But I suppose that when you're running soft tires like Andy Darnell, you're really running you're running those tires for the security that they won't blow out over the feature. Because remember, none of these cars are supposed to. I say supposed. I just realized that Hendrik Andreasen retired from the race. How did this happen? How did I miss that? Anyway, there you go. Smooth sailing for seeing Gunther now for the next 12 minutes. Yeah, you know the way that I usually tell you to get snacks and stuff? I should have sent you out for a blanket this time, because like, this race certainly had its moments and highlights, but damn, when it stagnates, it really stagnates. And if this is your first stream with us, please don't be discouraged. I'm usually a lot more talkative, and the races are usually a lot shorter as well. So if you'd like subscribe and hit the bell if you want. If you'd like to get notified whenever I do another live stream like this. I don't commentate every single live stream, obviously, because I'm in person. Someone has to commentate, but I don't always have time. So some of them will be missing commentary, but with the ones who do, I consider it a very good watch. And actually, our latest one, bar this, the M235i Championship, or Cup. I think they call it the Cup. They call it the Championship in Astro Leagues, but I call it the Cup because that's a bit of a mouthful. But that series involving the M235i is incredibly action-packed. I've commentated every round so far, and the latest round at Zandvoort, which I've been starting to call the Graveyard, is famous in this community for being very carnage-filled in terms of these races. That we've always held there, no matter what car we do, or race length, or whatever. There's always some kind of massive accident. I've never, in my year and a bit of commentating, I've never watched a race at Zandvoort without there being a massive accident with me on the mic. Like, not that a big scandal happened at this latest round, but like, I'd definitely give it a watch. Like, it's incredibly action-packed, and I'd recommend it. Far superior over this broadcast. Like, this is a bit rough around the edges. I don't have much to talk about. Races stagnated half an hour ago, but yeah, definitely check out the rest of our streams. Like, they're really good. I think you'd enjoy it. And also, as another thing, if you've ever heard of Chris Rogers, like the SimRacing YouTuber, he's also racing in M235i at the minute and making videos on that. So if you want to see Chris Rogers racing on the M2s, then head over to our Zandvoort stream that happened last week, and should be strapped in for a better time. So with 8 minutes to go, I reckon it's going to be this and next lap, and that's the race over. But let's keep in mind, there's now another fight on track, finally. So, Photosysiclu on third is now catching up to Andy Darnell slightly. His well-worn softs has proven to be slightly quicker than Andy Darnell's hard tires, which have ran the exact same race distance as the softs, but just different compound with different durability and grip levels. But the softs still seem to be a little bit faster, if not a bit sketchy. But Otis is keeping the gap very close. He was 2 seconds when I last checked in on him a lap ago, but now it's 1 second, so he's going to be in the slipstream very soon, and depending on his exit of this corner, he might be gaining enough tenths to get into that slipstreaming range, but he's understeering into the grass maybe. It's going to hinder him out a little bit. That doesn't appear to hinder him at all, because he's gaining the slipstream, I believe. Went from 45 seconds from the leader, 44.5. That means he's gaining on Andy. If I'm looking correctly at the relative to the leader. The relative to Andy, he is 1 second and 1/10 behind him. And he's starting to catch him a little bit per lap. And he's got one more to seal the deal now, with 6 minutes and a half left to go. So a little bit more information on Henrik Andreasen, one of the very quick drivers that I would have expected to win, perfectly honest. But no, he actually crashed out, and according to him, it was because his daughter disturbed him. I don't blame him. Like, those kids, man, they'll disturb you. But in any case, the Viking will not finish this race in first, and rather he DNFs in 7th. But he was making a very good time there. I need to find out from him. Ooh, Photosysiclu going very sideways and losing a lot of time onto the grass. He manages to save the car, but he's losing more time to Jeff Beekett now. Can't make too many more mistakes now, or else he'll pay the price of the position. And it appears that the E-Kit's skating very quick on Photos. It's going to be half a second between them as soon as they get into the Nordschleife, I predict. And 6/10 separate them. Going on to the Nordschleife segment. So we're going into the closing stages of this race, and E-Kit is gaining heavily on Photosysiclu, but Photosysiclu is gaining heavily on Andy Darnell, and loses the position, dropping down to third, but now gets also passed by Jeff Beekett, going through for third, and now Photosysiclu takes second for this race, and E-Kit third for the final spot of hardware, and E-Kit goes off the track. He's in the dirt, he's not going to be able to brake properly. Andy gives him plenty of room, he goes around, and Andy's going to have to... Oh, that was a very close call for Andy Darnell. There was absolutely no distance between him and the car. He was absolutely threaded like a needle. Well, that could have ended in a massive accident, but props to Andy for threading that needle. Really. That was a very close call. So anyway, that's but a product of hard racing and exhaustion after an hour. The pressure gets to drivers like that. It's like a cooking pot, massive cooking pot. They call this the green hill, but I'm going to call it the cooking pot. The massive green cooking pot with a lot of grass on it and trees and stuff. That makes no sense. I'm going to stop talking and yeah, listen to the cars for a second while I contemplate what the hell I just said. This will be, without a doubt, the last lap of the race, and Sebastian Gunther's leading it in the minute with Fosissiglu coming in to take a surprise P2 from Andy Darnell. Those hard tyres don't seem to be doing him as many favours as he thought, but maybe, bar a preposterous set of circumstances, maybe Fosissiglu or Sebastian Gunther might blow a tyre. Like, very last second, but it remains to be seen. I don't know how long these are going to last. But here's another battle to keep an eye on. It's going to be Ivan Gonkov. You see him in P6. He's coming after Ricardo Costa in P5. Around 2 seconds off of each other. They're at the back. But this is going to be, no matter where they finish, P6, like, is still going to be better than half the field, because half the field DNF'd. And that's going to be, no matter where they finish now, as long as they finish, they're going to have very nice points to their name. So it looks like Gonkov in the sweeping right-handers, he doesn't seem to be nailing it as good as Ricardo Costa is. He's losing seconds at a time in those braking zones. It's not like those soft tyres are wearing down either, because Ricardo Costa and Gonkov are both on hard tyres. Could be why they're at the back, but like, that makes no sense, because Andy Darnell's in third, right? And he was leading at the first portion of this race before Sebastian and Iepri caught up with him. But all things considered, the Nordschleife is very tough, and like, finishing here is a very big achievement. So congrats to the 6 people who did, or will. I hope I don't jinx that, because they're still running on the track. I'm saying this far too soon. Okay, so we're going to be coming onto the last lap now. And Sebastian Gunther's come a long way with a very good fight at the start and nothing but consistency towards the end. He's pushed the car just the right amount to get enough performance out of the car to beat the rest of the remaining field on outright pace. And the car is treating him right in return. Surrounding the final corner, accelerating across the finish line, Sebastian Gunther wins at a home track. It's the 1 hour of Nürburgring, and Sebastian Gunther wins it. And our next car is 50 seconds behind him. So let's focus on that for a sec. So unfortunately, Andy Darnell seems to be a fair bit out of slipstream range. So he won't be making a bit of another move on Photosysicglue, but that does lock him in. Bar a very preposterous set of circumstances. And the softs have held up for Photosysicglue, and they pay off, for he gets second place ahead of Andy Darnell in third. And a big victory spin for Photosysicglue, and saves it absolutely flawlessly. That is an absolute spectacle of driving performance. He trusted those softs with his life, and ultimately it paid off. It gave him the pace he needed towards the end to pass Andy Darnell and take second place for himself. So, without further ado, I'll go for the top 10. Of course, only 6 cars finished, but I'm sure, well, to keep it rounded, I'll name 10, I suppose. So, Sebastian Gunther has ended up winning it on lap 8 with a fastest lap of 8:48.025. And Henrik Andreassen's fastest lap, I couldn't catch that because my apologies, but my telemetry just shut off. But damn, I actually don't know the finishing order. But I know the top 3 though. Sebastian won with Fotis in second and Andy Darnell in third, with Jeff Ika in fourth. And that's all I got to see before the telemetry shut off. So I suppose now would be a good time to interview these drivers and see what they think after an entire hour in the green hell. So yeah, post-race interview time. So anyway, if you remain in the channel, like this is me talking to the drivers, by the way. If you remain in the channel, I'll automatically assume that you want an interview. So, like, just be ready. And if you don't want to and just want to hear whatever other people have to say, then just don't say anything back, and I'll just move on to the next person. So, in any case, Andy, I'd love to hear from you first. I guess he doesn't want to talk about it, and that's a shame.
No, I can hear you now. Sorry. Hi, Michael.
There you go, Andy. So, I was really looking forward to interviewing you now, because you have you had a very big storyline going on with the hard tires. Like, you managed to take the gamble, and unfortunately it didn't really pay off in the end. Fotis managed to jump you, just barely.
Yeah, I didn't make many mistakes. I just made one mistake, and Jeff and Fotis got by. And yeah, I mean, you have to try these things. I didn't think that the soft tires would last. I was playing it safe, really. It's the other guys that took a chance. But I'm happy.
Yeah, like, I would have done the same thing. How were you for fuel by the end, by the way? Because
Yeah, I fueled up for an extra lap as well, because if Henrik was on form, if he qualified on pole and he did his fastest laps, we would have done an extra lap. So that was my other theory with going with the hard tyres. We would have done an extra lap, and then the guys on soft really had problems.
right.
So I had plenty of fuel for another lap as well.
Yes, like how much were we talking for like the start? Were you going at like 120 or like maybe 90, or where were you going?
Absolutely no idea. No, I leave that to the pit crew.
Just him.
I've forgotten, in other words.
Fair enough.
Fotis will know, he remembers things better than me.
That's fair enough.
Thanks for your commentary anyway, it was great fun. I enjoyed it. I think half the field finished, so congrats to those that did. Commiserations to those that crashed out. I'm sure Paul's feeling it a bit.
Yeah, unfortunately, Paul crashed out. Gabriele crashed. Gabriele's game crashed. And whatchamacallit? Henrik got disturbed by his daughter.
Oh,
Um,
family comes first.
uh, and most of the other guys either disconnected or wrecked. So, yeah, 6 finishers out of 12.
Yeah, 50% finish. That's the green hell for you.
All right. So, is there anything else you'd like to mention to the guys at home?
No, just PetrolHead 123. Well done, guys. Thank you very much.
Okay, so that was Andy Darnell. Who managed to get third place, but he was jumped last second after a poor decision. He didn't want to take the chance on the softs, and unfortunately, it didn't pay off as much. And now we'll interview the man who managed to jump him with 1 lap to go. It's Fotis Isoglu.
Hi, Michael.
Hey there, Fotis. So you really did trust those soft tires until the end.
Yeah, I made the practice with fuel and softs yesterday. I was trying a strategy yesterday, softs, but I saw that soft with a little of management could make the distance, and I have left around 17% to spare an extra lap. And I was afraid about the tire wear after 50% that it will be horrible and you will lose a huge amount of time, but it wasn't the case. It was in performing quite well, although under 25% it was a little bit more slippery, but it was manageable. And I go with 90 liters and I finished with 8 liters to spare more as a fuel strategy. Um, yeah,
So what was your initial reaction to passing Andy back on the
uh,
hill? I mean, of
uh,
course you're fighting Ekit behind you, but
yeah,
then coming
yeah.
onto your left.
First of all, it's a game, they say, but after 1 hour in Lords, I feel like I was in a ring with a professional box fighter and beat the hell out of me. All my body pains, aches. Congratulations to all that managed to finish. I was closing Andy several times, but every time I was reaching him to striking distance, I did a mistake and fell back again. I did that mistake 4 or 5 times. The last time I was trying to be more cautious because it was last lap, and suddenly I see Andy make a mistake and took my chance there.
All right. So it's so you've had this planned out for some time, and it definitely worked out. P2, well done.
Yeah, thank you. I wouldn't expect that. My strategy was, as I said, it's not an easy task, especially for an hour with these cars. And my strategy was just it was just to survive. I didn't expect a podium and even more a second place, but I was lucky apparently, and it's okay.
All right. Is there anything
Saying
else?
that Henrik had to leave the race and some other guys, but yeah, it is what it is.
All right. Sorry for the interruption, like a few seconds earlier, but
It's
is there
okay.
is there anything else you'd like to say to the crowd before we
Uh,
go?
yeah, I hope they enjoy the race. Thank you very much for the commentary. I wasn't there, but I will see the stream afterwards. Congratulations to everyone that participated, finish or not, and a big well done to the guys that managed to finish. Doesn't matter which position. To finish it Nords, it's an achievement.
All right, thank you so much for your time, folks.
You're welcome, Michael.
Okay, and we saw one of the main. Now we'll probably have one of the more main protagonists for the race win here tonight. At least in the earlier stages, but unfortunately crashed out. Paul Eppery from Paul.
Oh, hi there.
Hey there, Paul. So that's unfortunate you crashed out.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's very annoying and frustrating, but that's not the mm, the frustrating thing is that I was not even pushing when I lost the car there. I just lost it in the corner right before the main straight in the old circuit. I don't know. I clipped the cut there. I never did that. I had the practice race yesterday, which I finished. The things were going well. I put a second and a half in front. Sebastian was not catching. I let it go a little bit slower, and maybe that's the problem. When I go slow, I crash. So for the next races, I'll just commit and go full throttle.
All right, sounds like a solid plan, Paul.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, congratulations for the guys who finished. I watched the stream afterwards, and you did a great job commentating. Yeah, it is. You said there that is a cooking pot, a green cooking pot. Yes, it is. Yeah, I
That was a
didn't.
bit rough
Yeah,
around the edges.
yeah, yeah. I did
Um,
not. I did not finish the race. I did finish an hour race yesterday in practice, and I can tell you from my experience that it is a cooking pot there. An hour on Nordschleife, it is a big achievement to finish the race. It's a shame I didn't, but yeah, it's sim racing after all.
yeah, absolutely. Anyway, well done. That's it for tonight. You definitely could have done something if you hadn't had that accident. But is there anything else you'd like to mention to the guys at home, or anything about the race that you'd like to mention?
Well, I don't know. I hope they enjoy, and if anybody watching is mm, doing some sim racing, we're here at PetrolHead SimRacing. We welcome everybody. I am sure Andy would love to have more guys here. So yeah, join us.
Yeah, and if you'd like to join us, of course, I don't say this enough. We actually have a Discord where we organize all this stuff, and you can actually join us on the grid and race with us.
Yep.
So like you follow the Discord link in the description, and then come meet us yourself. Yeah, I'll say hello. But anyway, thank you so much, Paul, for your time.
Yeah. Thank you for your time too.
All right. And last but certainly not least, it is the man who stuck it 5 thousandths of a second behind Paul Eppery in qualifying and won the race in the end after the hour. It is Sebastian Gunther.
Hello, Michael. Thank you very much.
So, Sebastian, it was definitely a tough scrap at the start between you, Eppery, and later on Henrik. How do you how do you reckon it would have turned out if they hadn't crashed out?
It would have been very close with Paul for sure. I think I probably could have pushed a little bit more and maybe closed the gap at some point. We were kind of the same pace, but Henrik would have absolutely gapped us both 100%.
Yeah. What was your what? I want to get your reaction. At the start of the race, right when Andy was in first place and keeping you guys behind.
Yeah.
What if I told you he was running hard tires?
Yeah,
the whole
I
time?
noticed that. I knew it, and I was just waiting for an opportunity to get past, but trying as safe as.
Did you ever feel like the soft tires were gonna break down on you at any time, or was this just slippery?
They definitely felt slippery in 6th and 7th lap, but in terms of pace, it didn't make a huge improve. It wasn't way worse than it should have been. So I went with the soft.
All right, I mean, it definitely paid off. So, in any case, like, of course, Henrik, you were racing Henrik on the end of lap 2, and then he peels off into the pits. Like, what was your initial reaction of that?
When I saw he had a drive-through penalty, I was quite happy actually. But obviously, I knew that if he can do 6 more clean laps, he will win no matter what, because he can go 10 seconds quicker per lap. So yeah.
Yeah, like, it's a like you've managed to like out of everyone who's finished tonight, you've managed to best everyone. So congratulations on the win, Sebastian.
Thank you.
So, is there anything else you'd like to mention to the guys or the guys at home, or yeah?
Well, come back the next time, watch the next race, and if you want, join our Discord for participation in clean and close races, I guess.
All right. So that was thank you so much for your time, Sebastian. Like, have a good evening.
You too, mate.
Okay, so right, let's get something straight. I know that this stream was a little bit rough around the edges in particular. This wasn't one of the best performances that I've ever had. I was a bit grasping for a lot of that. But hopefully, like if you guys stuck around for like most of the stream and stayed there, like well, props to you. Like thank you so much for your patience and sticking it out for the whole hour. You've been there, and yeah, like I definitely recommend checking out some of our other streams if you because like of course some of the commentary there wasn't exactly top what you call top tier, and you
You
guys.
did great. You did great. I'm sorry.
All right, that was Paul Yepri again. Thanks, Paul. But some of that was a bit rough around the edges, especially the fucking cooking pot yolk or whatever. That was a bit. But you know what? It turned out all right in the end. It was an hour of the nerve. It was an hour of the green hell. And if there's anything that it taught me, it's not an hour of hell just for the drivers, but an hour for the commentator as well, one way or another. Because damn, I'm tired. So yeah, that's it, I suppose. If you'd like to join us and like check out our Discord link in the description, and I'll probably greet you in the morning myself. Uh, Participation is free and all that. Just have race room content and stuff, and I'll see you on track. See you next time, and I'll see you later and stuff. But this has gone farther enough. This is terrible. I need to shut up.